What do smart business people do? They use other people's money, right? So that's what we're teaching people how to do, is use other people's money to go out and grow their business.
Hey, Brent. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. I'm looking into starting a new line haul business. Rick and I were looking at a few runs and stuff. I have some money in the bank, not a whole lot, but I'm a little nervous about my financing options. I know that FedEx and route sellers aren't the best and the SBA loans aren't their favorite, but Rick mentioned that you might have a few other options for me and can explain those for me. So if you have time today, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me why the FedEx space, first of all.
Well, as you know, I've been doing events for about 2 years in the FedEx space. I've met amazing people, wonderful vendors like yourself, and wonderful TSPs. And I've seen the money that people can make. I've ran businesses before, of course, in my past. Been in the corporate world for almost 17, 18 years now. So the line haul space just seems super interesting to me, and it seems like I know all the right contacts like yourself and Rick and everything. So I thought this would be a good place to invest and see if I can make some money.
All right. Well, so let me first tell you, have you started your corporation yet?
I have not.
Okay.
We have been talking about it. I do know that FedEx, it's better to do an S Corp before anything else. So I am looking into that, but any advice on that as well is welcome.
Yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about what I do. So we help business owners get their corporate credit set up for their company. So when you go out and apply for funding, 99% of the time, you're always going to personally guarantee it. The goal is to get your corporation to have credit. Now, when you start your company, there's things you need to look at before you start or while you're starting your company, so you do it the correct way. We have there's 95% of the lenders and vendors and financial institutions out there don't report for corporate credit. We work with the 5% that do. And so we know a couple things from those people, what it takes to get the corporate credit set up on the EIN number. And there's 150 things that they look at to determine if your company is even a good bet, right? So in the very beginning of setting up your company, there's a whole bunch of things there you need to know before you set it up. That way you don't have to go back and redo it. I can give you a few examples. You have to have your address has a match with the IRS and the state and where you do business. It can't be a PO box. It can't be a UPS box. It has to be a physical location. It has a match, like I said, all across all the boards.
All right, so we have an address. That's very easy. I was talking to my fiance, who's going to be my partner in this. He mentioned Dun and Bradstreet. Do we need that? What do you suggest?
Yeah, so the funny thing is everybody's heard Dun& Bradstreet. The second you set up your EIN number, they were going to spam you to death and they're going to try to charge you something. You don't have to pay them anything, but you do need a Dun & Bradstreet number. You also need an Experian and Equifax business numbers, separate than personal. There's three major bureaus out there, and actually Experian is actually the most sought after. People actually look at it more than they do Dun & Bradstreet now. And that goes back to the very first step, where you have to have everything done correctly. If your address doesn't match on Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax that you registered the business with, automatic declines from institutions.
I know we're just getting started, and it's a long process to get into FedEx, and I need to get all of my money together and all my money situated. If I did go through one of your programs, which it sounds great, how long are we talking? How long would it take to get that processed, and what kind of funds would I have available to invest in my business in FedEx Linehaul?
So that's a great question. There's a lot of different avenues, okay? So if you start out correctly and build the credit on the EIN number and go through our process, we typically take a business from no corporate credit to top tier corporate credit in 12 months. But it's all about your demonstrated ability to borrow and pay reflected on those three credit bureaus. So if you show that I spent $500,000 in a year, then you should have a $500,000 recommendation over time. Now, it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 1 year. You got to demonstrate that year over year. 2-3 years from now, if you showed that 500K, you should have a $500,000 accessible line of credit available to the corporation. You will, however, get access to being able to buy trucks and things like that without a personal guarantee sooner.
Really, that's interesting, because I've heard from Rick that banks don't really like to work with FedEx contractors, and that the money in my bank is mostly for trucks. So if there's other financing options for that, that would be very exciting.
Well, it sounds like Rick has been spending too much time in the gym lately. But if you go ask your bank's going to tell you there's no way. They're going to make you personally guarantee everything. The choice is yours when you have corporate credit. You can go anywhere. And so when you build that credit profile, that's what they look at. The institutions we work with look at that so that you don't have to personally guarantee. You don't have to use your own capital. What do smart business people do? They use other people's money, right? So that's what we're teaching people how to do, is use other people's money to go out and grow their business.
Thank you so much. This is so helpful and awesome. Is there any other tips you can give me, especially in your experience being a contractor yourself? Any advice that you can give me from here on out that you haven't already given me? Let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're going, especially starting out, right, you need to have a plan. We actually just acquired some software, AI-driven software, that helps you build a business plan. It'll show you, even if you're a 10-year-old business, it'll help you maximize profits. So you got to know those numbers, right? Whenever I was a contractor, we had probably 7 or 8 different Excels to track all of our expenses. This is an AI-driven tool that will actually show you where you're spending your money, how to increase profits, how to make sure that you're going to be profitable. And that's a very powerful tool as well when you're going to look for those lending options.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like it would be very helpful. When do you think you'll have that up and running? Is it something soon?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, I'd love for you to actually be a guinea pig on it for us. We are probably going to have that in full launch in the next 3 weeks.
That's soon. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your time, Brent. I do want to ask you one more question. What is your one tip that could help me be successful in Linehaul?
My one tip for Linehaul and P&D as well, I was a Linehaul and P&D contractor, is hire good people and take care of those people. That's what made me successful as a FedEx contractor, is I sought after good people, and they were, I took care of them, and I made sure that they had what they needed when they needed it. That's how you become a successful contractor.
Awesome. So aces in their places and a good company culture.
Yep, 100%.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. All your help is appreciated, and I'm sure I will talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey everyone. Thanks for joining my Linehaul journey. Today, I was able to reach out to Brent Barnhart from TJ Corporate Credit for some wonderful business tips. I learned when forming a company, it's important to do the documentation correctly from the very beginning to build a corporate credit. Cash and SBA loans aren't the only options when you have good corporate credit, and smart people go out and use other people's money to grow their business. Thanks for joining. See you next time. Bye.